Hello there and welcome back to this video. And in this video I want to show you the importance of setting up your closing date for your transactions. I just want to show you how it works. QuickBooks doesn't require you to or even let you close months and years the way old money accounting system did. When you closed an old accounting period, you actually zeroed out the revenue and expense accounts and transferred the net amount to the owner's equity account. That was the old way. However, QuickBooks does let you use closing dates and passwords. The closing date sort of prevents someone from entering transactions earlier than the specified date. Let's say you are going to present a financial report by the end of this month. For example, if you are to make a financial presentation of your report by the end of the month, and you wouldn't want any transaction to be changed or edited, that will cause differences in your report. For example, you have already printed and reconciled the information on your report, and someone makes another accountant accesses QuickBooks and probably does a credit memo or enters a transaction that was not entered before. It can vary a lot of information from your report, especially when it's already been reconciled. So if you set a closing password, for example, someone needs to supply that password before entering a transaction or changing a transaction dated before the closing date that you have put to protect your financial report, which means you are the only one that has access to go back to those transactions and change them. If you don't set a password, someone trying to enter or change a transaction dated before the closing date is warned, but he or she can still create or change the entry. So you see, it is key to set a password, because then they do not have access. They cannot change the transaction unless they know your password. To set up the closing date and the password, let's come over to our QuickBooks here, and we go to edit, then we go to preferences. Still under the accounting, we go to company preferences. Then under company preferences, you come down over here, there is date through which books are closed. So you come to set date and passwords. This dialog box comes up. It says, to keep your financial data secure, QuickBooks recommends assigning all other users their own username and password in company. Over here now, let me say if I set the closing date to 31st of August, which means no one will be able to change the transactions before this date. Okay, I go on to set my password. Okay, all right, confirm it. I'll go on to say okay. Now, for you to be able to do this setting, you must have logged in as an admin and a single user. But if you're not, it's going to ask you to create an account. Okay, over there you go. You have already set the closing date and the password to your transaction. Now see what happens if someone wanted to change a transaction that was dated before that. Okay, so let's look for a transaction that was dated before that. I had written a check before that, so let me just go and find it, the check, and see, try to change something behind. Okay, let me try to change this transaction. All right, this was a transaction that was dated before the 31st of August. So if I want to change, or probably wanted to add something that wasn't there, I wanted to add something here, I wanted to also put this memo over here. Okay, and I click on save and close. It says you have changed the transaction. Do you want to record your changes? Let's say yes. So this information will come up, says this modification will affect transactions from closed periods and could also affect previous financial reports. That's it. So you must enter the closing date password to make this change. So if you are the one that wanted to make this change because you understand your report better than anyone else, you could go ahead, put on the password and make the change. But if it was somebody else trying to make that change and disorganize your report, if you had not put a password, they would be able to make the change because there would be no password to protect you. So that's it for setting up your closing date and password, and for just showed you how it works. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and leave a comment in the section down below, and I'll be glad to reply to your comment.